Indonesia's vast size and land area is often overlooked and underestimated. In this video, I compared the size of Indonesia to that of other countries and continents. Indonesia is the world's largest archipelago nation. There are 5 large islands and roughly 30 smaller groupings that make up the archipelago. The islands are situated at the meeting point of 2 oceans, the Pacific and the Indian Oceans. Here, we can observe that the shape of Indonesia stretches from Turkey all the way to central India, a pretty large distance. Moving on, we move Indonesia westward into the continent of Europe. Indonesia's westernmost and easternmost points are about the same distance apart as between England and Iran. It can even stretch all the way from Belgium to Uzbekistan, which is rather astounding. Alright, now let's move Indonesia into the largest nation in the world, which is Russia. As you can see here, Indonesia stretches across most time zones in Russia, from Moscow all the way into the far eastern frontiers of Siberia. This is a comparison I find pretty remarkable. Next, we shall move Indonesia to the Atlantic Ocean. Sumatra and West Papua are separated by a distance equivalent to that between Canada and Portugal. It is highly evident that Indonesia is slightly wider than the Atlantic Ocean. The intended voyage of the Titanic is even shorter than the span between the 2 ends of this massive country. Pretty impressive. Now let's compare Indonesia to the continent of Africa. We can see here that Indonesia is as wide as the Sahara Desert, spanning a distance between Morocco and Sudan. It is also as wide as between the countries of Guinea and Ethiopia. When we put Indonesia on North America, we can observe that Indonesia is even wider than the distance between the east coast and the west coast of the United States of America. Traveling from Sumatra to West Papua is comparable to moving from California all the way to New York. Imagine the sheer distance. Moving Indonesia northward, we can see that the country is as wide as Canada, from Vancouver all the way to Quebec. Now let us go on to South America, where it's clearly evident that Indonesia's width from east to west is greater than Brazil's. Can you imagine how long and how far it would take to get from one end of Indonesia to the other? Without further ado, we move Indonesia across the Pacific Ocean, which is the largest ocean in the world, to Australia. This is how Indonesia compares to Australia in terms of land size. Now let's tilt Indonesia this way, vertically. Now we can see that the distance that stretches between Sumatra to West Papua is comparable to between Mongolia and Singapore. Moving Indonesia westward into Europe and Africa, we notice that Indonesia can stretch from their former colonial masters, the Netherlands, all the way to southern Nigeria. Take notice of how small the Netherlands is compared to their former colony, Indonesia. Last but not least, let's move Indonesia to the Americas. The shape of Indonesia spans from Canada all the way to Brazil. It can also form a land bridge between Mexico and Bolivia, countries that are thousands of kilometers apart. People tend to mistake the size of Indonesia as being small due to the distortions of the Mercator map projection, which makes countries closer to the equator appear smaller than they actually are. I hope this video enlightens you to the fact that Indonesia is a pretty massive country, much larger than many people would imagine. I hope you like this video. Please smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And as always, thanks for watching.